So we welcome Zion.
Barry, we're going to earn it the next 2 live hours of SportsCenter. This is Matt. I'm Sage Steele. Here today, again, 2 hours. Big day of NFL coverage, as we'll touch on at least one-third of the league's teams over the next 2 hours, including the Cowboys, right? Always the Cowboys. Mike McCarthy has just spoken to reporters within the last half hour or so, and Dak Prescott is taking a step forward today. Yes, Dak Prescott. Oh, that's good for us. We'll tell you what that is and how the Cowboys should handle their quarterback.
Yeah, a lot of conversations around that. Plus, we're also going to talk to Packers as Aaron Rodgers and the offense look to improve after needing overtime last week to beat the Patriots. The team is trying to clean up ahead of Sunday's game against 3-1 Giants in London. They're across the pond. We're across from Lake Compound, SportsCenter.
By the way, as far as Tua in the update, great. We want him to do well. I don't want to talk about him right now. I don't want to see him back out there for a long time, right? For his own sake, perspective here, right? So we move on, and we're talking about what's next for the Dolphins. And speed is their biggest strength. Last week in Cincinnati, after Tua went out, Teddy Bridgewater didn't really get rid of the ball as quickly as Tua did. So how much does this unit change with Teddy being under center?
I don't think it does at all, Sage. The difference is we fix it and get these guys in better position to make plays. But ultimately, when you see the Miami Dolphins down at the bottom of pass defense, it's because their DBs are compromised a lot more than most DBs in the NFL by the way that they play defense. And that's man-to-man, and they trying to heat up quarterbacks.
Which you want some of that. And I look back to, like, the Ed Reed days in Baltimore, where it's going to hurt you sometimes, but when they're on it, they take that chance.
Yeah, exactly.
You like that, too. By the way, they haven't had cornerback Byron Jones because that offseason ankle surgery. So when he comes back.
Look, I'm fine with Miami right now.
Listen, guys, but don't go too far, okay?
I'll be here.
And look at that. We're going from one center to another as we say hello to our Jeff Saturday joining us live on SportsCenter. And Jeff, Mason Cole in his first season in Pittsburgh, but is 5th overall in the National Football League. So if you are Mason Cole and you have a rookie quarterback starting his first ever NFL game, you got, 4 or 5 days to get prepared. What are those discussions like this week between Mason and Kenny leading up to the game?
Yeah, lean on me, right? Like
the formidable foe to go up to Buffalo to play the Bills. And this Bills defense comes into week 5 allowing the fewest passing yards in all of football. So as far as first starts go, yeah, it doesn't get any tougher than this. Game plan-wise, what would you be doing for Kenny Pickett as he tries to go against this tough Buffalo D?
Yeah, tell him to limit negative plays.
But wide receiver Deontay Johnson said after the game last week that Pickett came in and played with swag. We all know how important that swagger is, especially to someone like Jeff Saturday. Speaking of swag, let's go over. Oh, wait, it's not Marcus. Never mind. It's Matt Berry.
Yeah, well.
Okay.
No swag. No swag. Lack of swag.
Listen.
Aaron Judge has put power on display since early this season, and last night he did it. He made history with his 62nd home run of the season, 62, to break the American League single-season home run record that has stood at 61 since 1961, exactly 61 years ago. The record, which was held by Babe Ruth and broken by Roger Maris, it's now in sole possession of Aaron Judge, staying in Yankees' hands again and again and again. Buster Olney has more. All right, Marcus, you think back just a couple of years ago when they brought Nick Sirianni in here, replacing Doug Peterson and all that he had done, and everybody's like, who's this next young head coach?
That opening press conference wasn't a lot to write home about either.
Correct?
Yeah.
That's a great reminder.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's feeling his way in there into that role. And now, when he says he's not your typical head coach, remember when he came in wearing the sweatshirts with other players facing on? What makes his style now resonate? Because something is working.
He embraces his guys. That's number one. Supportive of the guy that everybody looks to lead in a lot of situations. That kind of filters throughout the locker room, and it becomes a respect thing now.
Remember the other day after the game, he was talking about taking chances there on a 4th down, and his reason why is because of his trust in Jalen Hurts. He used that word repeatedly.
Absolutely.
With his quarterback, and that matters. Play the Cowboys twice, of course. Host the Packers, but overall, their schedule, the 4th easiest remaining. So there's a lot of good stuff that could be coming their way.
We may be staring at the best team in the NFC.
Is that hard for you to say?
It's very difficult. Yep.
On that note, it's on tape. Thank you, Marcus. Wow, yes, true, one more game left, but finally, Jessica Mendoza, our baseball analyst, joining us now live here with more on Aaron Judge. And I know how closely you have watched this and followed him, of course, all season long. Not only did he break Maris's record, doing it in the midst of a Triple Crown race. Jess, can you put all of this into perspective for us? Because it really is incredible. Great points, great perspective. And I don't know that any of us will ever fully understand or comprehend how it felt to be under this much pressure the entire time, especially these last couple of weeks. So that in its own right is quite a feat. Here's the thing. I mean, we all want more, right? Aaron Judge is hoping to add his name. They're thinking all about those Houston Astros as well. And when you look at the odds, by the way, the Yankees have the third best odds to win it all. Behind who? The Astros. And then, of course, the Dodgers at the top of that list. Jessica Mendoza, as always, good to see you on SportsCenter. Thank you.
You mentioned baseball there. We see it here with their doubleheader sweep against Detroit last night. The Seattle Mariners have found themselves back in the postseason, finishing the regular season with either 89 or 90 wins. They're locked in as the 5 seed, which means they will be in the playoffs for the first time since 2001.
Which is crazy. Over 20 years ago, the only franchise in the major leagues that has never won a pennant and never appeared in a World Series. Now there is hope that the future is bright in Seattle. Jeremy Schaap has more in today's edition of Outside the Lines here on SportsCenter. It's still rush hour.
Wait a second.
Right now. You're welcome. Yes.
I should know the cameras are always rolling.
Always rolling, and that the producers are always finding ways to expose you. That was so good. It was spot on.
The level of my revenge is going to be fierce.
Newfound respect.
You've all been warned.
Good job, guys.